Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining me. Today we're going to be talking about Gen Avionics, also known as Next Generation Aviation Electronics. There's three things we're going to cover today. What Gen Avionics is. We're going to cover a couple systems like automatic dependent surveillance broadcast and controller pilot data link communication. So, what is Gen Avionics? Gen Avionics are designed to transition the national aerospace from a radar-based one that was designed in the 1940s and 50s to one that is SATCOM-based or satellite communication-based. So what will this do for us? This is going to shorten our flight routes, which not only saves us time, but it also saves the airlines fuel. And, more importantly, it will reduce the workload for the pilots in the cockpit. The next system I'm going to cover is automatic dependent surveillance, also known as ADS-B and C. The B stands for broadcast, the C stands for contract. What does ADS-B do? It uses GPS instead of radar to provide air traffic controllers with precise precision of the aircraft in the airspace. Aircraft will also periodically transmit out to air traffic control and other suitably equipped aircraft their aircraft ID, also their registration number, their position, and their altitude and their velocity. And because this is GPS based, it's virtually impossible for an ADS-B or C equipped aircraft to be lost in airspace. This would have been important for the Malaysian Airlines Flight 370. Had it had these technologies, we probably not would have lost that jet. Having said that, let's talk about one of the other big systems that's being rolled into place, and that's Controller Pilot Data Link, or CPDLC communication. This uses very high frequency and SATCOM based radios to enable air traffic control and air crews to interact in an electronic text based nature through the flight management system that's on the aircraft. This will allow for faster taxi and takeoff clearances, altitude changes, and vectors. None of this stuff you really need to know about what the vectors are, but just know that it allows it to happen in a text-based nature instead of through voice. What this means is it reduces the confusion that sometimes accents and verbal communication can have between a pilot and a controller. This also, again, will reduce the workload for the pilot in the cockpit. So in conclusion, today we talked about what Gen Avionics is, which is the transition from the national aerospace from radar-based to GPS-based surveillance. We talked about ADS-B and C, also known as automatic dependent surveillance broadcasting, which provides enhanced data to air traffic control and other aircraft, along with increased visibility. And we talked about CPDLC, which uses VHF and SATCOM data link to interact with the co-pilots, the pilots, and the air traffic controllers through an electronic nature. And this is just a glimpse of what is coming in the future. I hope you found this informative and enjoyable. Thank you for coming.